In Japan, where the average life expectancy is among the highest in the world, the relationship between aging and medicine is not what many in the West might imagine. While in the United States and Europe there is often a strong emphasis on early detection through frequent and sometimes exhaustive medical exams, Japanese elders approach health with a quieter restraint. A startling fact illustrates this contrast. Although Japan is home to one of the most rapidly aging populations, participation in certain advanced screenings is far lower than in countries with shorter lifespans. This isn't neglect. Rather, it reflects a deeply rooted cultural philosophy about balance, moderation, and respect for the natural rhythm of life. Elders in Japan do not reject medicine altogether. They accept what is necessary and life-preserving, but hesitate when medicine pushes toward what they perceive as excess. The cultural wisdom that guides them has been shaped by centuries of tradition, where simplicity and respect for the body are intertwined with longevity. This balance creates a paradox for outsiders. How can a population that undergoes fewer of these high-tech tests still manage to live longer, healthier lives? That is precisely the mystery and the insight we will explore. The answer lies not only in lifestyle and diet, but also in the deliberate decision to avoid certain medical interventions, especially screenings, that may do more harm than good. This does not mean they ignore warning signs. Instead, they rely on attentive observation, trust in experienced physicians, and a conservative approach to testing. They recognize that every test carries not only the potential to reveal disease, but also the danger of overdiagnosis, anxiety, or unnecessary treatments that diminish quality of life. For an elder in Tokyo or Kyoto, health is not defined by the number of scans or reports collected in a hospital folder. It is measured in the ability to walk to the market, share tea with neighbors, or tend a small garden. Their focus is on maintaining strength and dignity in daily life, not chasing every possible hidden illness through machines. In this way, they model a philosophy of medicine that asks a critical question: does knowing more always mean living better? In this exploration, we will uncover 5 specific medical exams that many Japanese elders consciously avoid. These are not fringe choices, but deliberate cultural patterns backed by a mixture of scientific caution and generational wisdom. For viewers and readers outside Japan, this is not an invitation to reject all medical care, but rather a chance to reconsider the balance between vigilance and excess. As we move forward, we will prepare the ground by looking at how tradition and modern medicine coexist in Japan. Understanding this foundation is essential before examining each exam individually. It is within this intersection of old wisdom and modern technology that the choices of Japanese elders begin to make sense. To understand why Japanese elders deliberately step away from some medical exams, we must first explore the unique intersection of tradition and modern medicine in their culture. Japan is home to some of the most advanced medical technologies in the world. Hospitals in Tokyo and Osaka are equipped with cutting-edge machines, and the country trains highly skilled specialists. Yet, when it comes to everyday health decisions, many elders lean toward restraint rather than overindulgence in these medical options. This contrast reveals a philosophy that is as cultural as it is clinical. At the heart of this approach lies a deeply ingrained respect for longevity and the natural process of aging. Elders are not trying to fight every wrinkle or chase every possible diagnosis. Instead, they view health through the lens of balance. Living long, in their perspective, means living well, not simply extending life at any cost. That is why they are careful about which medical exams they accept and which they quietly decline. The Western belief that more tests mean better care does not always resonate in Japanese communities, where minimalism often extends to healthcare itself. This does not mean elders avoid modern medicine entirely. On the contrary, Japan has one of the highest rates of preventive checkups for basic, evidence-based screenings like blood pressure monitoring and certain cancer tests. What elders often refuse are broad, sweeping scans or panels that may identify problems too early or too vaguely, leading to cascades of interventions. For them, less is often more, especially when a test might reveal something uncertain that could cause anxiety or unnecessary treatments. The scientific community in Japan supports this careful stance. Researchers in gerontology and public health frequently caution against the dangers of overdiagnosis. Studies have shown that when elders undergo extensive exams without clear medical need, they are more likely to suffer from false positives and the physical and emotional toll that follows. Instead of improving outcomes, such tests may reduce quality of life. This is an important point. Japanese culture is not rejecting science but rather applying it more selectively. The result is a fascinating coexistence. Tradition reminds elders to avoid unnecessary waste of time, money, and energy on medical excess, while modern medicine provides tools for when they are truly needed. It is this balance that has allowed Japan to achieve both technological leadership and cultural wisdom in healthcare. Elders know that the body cannot be forced into eternal youth, and they accept this truth with a kind of quiet dignity. As we turn to the first of the 5 medical exams that Japanese elders commonly avoid, it is important to keep this context in mind. These choices are not random or reckless but stem from a philosophy that blends centuries-old tradition with contemporary medical evidence. The first example we will examine is the routine full-body CT scan, a test that may seem protective but carries hidden dangers many Japanese elders prefer to sidestep. The routine full-body CT scan is often advertised as a powerful preventive tool, promising to detect hidden diseases before symptoms ever appear. In many Western countries, some people undergo this scan as a way to gain peace of mind, hoping that more information will guarantee longer life. The idea sounds reassuring, a detailed picture of the body, from head to toe showing what could be silently developing. But in Japan, many elders look at this exam with suspicion, and for good reason. A CT scan, or computed tomography, uses X-rays to create cross-sectional images of the body. While useful in diagnosing specific conditions when symptoms are present, the use of full-body CT scans for general screening is highly controversial. One major concern is radiation. A single CT scan exposes a patient to a level of radiation significantly higher than that of a standard chest X-ray. When repeated without necessity, this radiation accumulates, raising the lifetime risk of developing certain cancers. For elders who have already lived many decades, the added burden of radiation exposure is not a risk they take lightly. Another hidden danger lies in what radiologists call incidental findings. These are unexpected abnormalities that may never have caused harm, but once discovered, they trigger a cascade of additional tests, biopsies, or even surgeries. For instance, a harmless cyst in the liver or a tiny nodule in the lung might be spotted on a CT scan. Even if these findings are benign, the anxiety they cause and the medical procedures that follow can significantly reduce an elder's quality of life. Japanese elders, with their emphasis on peace of mind and acceptance of natural aging, are less willing to subject themselves to this cycle of worry and intervention. Scientific evidence supports their caution. Multiple studies have shown that routine full-body CT scans do not improve overall survival rates in asymptomatic individuals. Professional organizations, including those in Japan and abroad, discourage their use as a blanket screening tool. Instead, CT scans are recommended when there is a clear medical indication, such as evaluating symptoms, monitoring a known condition, or guiding a treatment plan. In other words, the exam is valuable when used with precision, not as a fishing expedition. For Japanese elders, the decision is straightforward. Why risk radiation, anxiety, and unnecessary procedures for a test that does not guarantee longer life? Their refusal is not about avoiding care but about seeking the right kind of care at the right time. They prefer to focus on maintaining daily vitality through balanced diet, physical activity, and regular but targeted checkups, rather than broad technological sweeps. As we continue this journey, the full-body CT scan serves as our first lesson. More testing does not always mean better health. Next, we will turn to another exam that many Japanese elders avoid, the annual whole-body MRI. While it does not carry the same radiation risks as CT, it presents its own set of hidden challenges and consequences. The annual whole-body MRI is often promoted as a safer alternative to the CT scan, mainly because it does not involve radiation. Magnetic resonance imaging uses powerful magnets and radio waves to create highly detailed pictures of tissues and organs. To many, it sounds like the ultimate tool for reassurance, a chance to look inside the body with no radiation risk. Yet, despite its advanced technology, many Japanese elders decline this exam when offered as part of routine screening. Their hesitation reveals something important about how they view both health and medicine. One of the main reasons for avoiding whole-body MRI lies in the issue of overdiagnosis. Unlike targeted MRIs, which are used to investigate a specific symptom or suspected condition, a full-body scan is designed to look everywhere at once. This increases the chances of finding something unusual, small growths, irregularities, or variations that may never pose a real threat. For elders, discovering these silent anomalies often leads to a chain reaction of further tests, consultations, and even invasive procedures. The physical toll is one concern, but the emotional burden of constant uncertainty can be equally damaging. Cost is another factor. In Japan, as in many countries, whole-body MRIs performed without medical necessity are rarely covered by public insurance. They must be paid out of pocket, often at a high price. Elders, who value frugality and the principle of mottainai, avoiding waste, may see this as money better spent on maintaining well-being in daily life, rather than on a test that may not improve outcomes. This cultural lens adds another layer of caution to their medical decisions. Scientific evidence further supports their stance. Studies in radiology and public health have questioned the effectiveness of whole-body MRI as a preventive tool. While the technology is excellent for diagnosing specific conditions, its use as a broad screening measure has not been shown to extend life expectancy or reduce the burden of disease in asymptomatic people. Instead, it often results in incidental findings, unnecessary follow-ups, and sometimes harmful overtreatment. Leading medical organizations, both in Japan and internationally, recommend against routine whole-body MRI scans for healthy individuals. The Japanese elders' choice, then, reflects both cultural wisdom and scientific prudence. They recognize that knowing too much can sometimes mean suffering more, especially when the information is uncertain or does not change the ultimate course of aging. Instead of chasing potential problems hidden deep in the body, they focus on practical daily habits, balanced nutrition, gentle exercise, social connection, that are proven to enhance quality of life. From the CT scan to the MRI, we can already see a pattern. Technology alone does not guarantee healthier aging. Each test carries risks that may outweigh its benefits when used indiscriminately. With this foundation, we move next to a very different kind of screening: full genetic testing. Unlike imaging, this exam peers into the code of life itself, offering predictions about possible future diseases and bringing its own hidden dangers that Japanese elders often prefer to avoid. Genetic testing has become one of the most talked about frontiers in modern medicine. With a simple saliva sample or blood draw, it is now possible to map a person's entire genome, uncovering thousands of potential risks and predispositions. The promise is alluring. Learn what illnesses might be hidden in your DNA, and take preventive steps before they ever appear. Yet many Japanese elders choose not to pursue full genetic screening, and their decision reveals a thoughtful awareness of the potential harms behind this seemingly futuristic exam. One of the biggest concerns is psychological weight. Imagine being told you carry a gene that increases your risk of a disease with no guaranteed cure or prevention. For many elders, such knowledge does not provide peace but rather worry, often for conditions that may never develop. Japanese culture places high value on mental calmness and acceptance of life's natural flow. Carrying a burden of probabilities, you might develop this disease in 10 or 20 years, is seen as unnecessary stress, especially later in life. Privacy is another reason for hesitation. Genetic data is intensely personal, and in Japan, where respect for personal boundaries is strong, the idea of storing one's entire genetic map in a database raises concerns. Questions of how the information might be used, for research, insurance decisions, or even shared without consent, make elders wary. Protecting personal dignity is often more important than chasing uncertain medical insights. There is also the issue of uncertain results. Genetic testing frequently identifies variants of unknown significance. These are changes in DNA that scientists do not fully understand. Being told you carry such a variant can create confusion and anxiety without offering a clear course of action. Medical societies worldwide caution against broad genome sequencing in healthy individuals for this very reason. While targeted tests for specific actionable conditions may be useful, full sequencing often generates more questions than answers. Japanese elders, guided by both cultural wisdom and scientific evidence, prefer to avoid this uncertainty. They focus instead on tangible daily practices, diet rich in vegetables and fish, walking in nature, maintaining close community ties, that are proven to support health regardless of genetic predisposition. In this sense, they embody a philosophy of practicality. Why invest energy in what may or may not happen when one can strengthen the body and mind today? This does not mean that genetic testing has no value. In cases of strong family history or specific inherited conditions, targeted panels can provide meaningful guidance. But the choice to skip full genome screening reflects a balance of priorities: quality of life, peace of mind, and a trust in the natural aging process. Having explored the unseen risks of genetic testing, we now turn to another area where Japanese elders often show restraint: extensive hormonal panels. These tests promise insight into the inner chemistry of aging, yet they can lead to overdiagnosis and overtreatment that disrupt the very balance elders seek to preserve. Hormonal panels are often marketed as a way to unlock the secrets of aging. By measuring levels of thyroid hormones, cortisol, testosterone, estrogen, and dozens of other chemical messengers, these tests promise to reveal imbalances that could be corrected to restore vitality. For many people seeking to hold on to youth, the idea is compelling. Yet in Japan, elders frequently avoid undergoing extensive hormonal panels unless there is a clear medical reason. Their restraint reflects both cultural attitudes and medical caution. One of the main problems with broad hormone testing is interpretation. Hormone levels naturally fluctuate throughout the day and change with age. What might look abnormal on paper could simply be a natural variation for an elder. When such results are treated as a disease, patients may be subjected to medications or therapies they never needed. This overdiagnosis can lead to overtreatment, which carries real risks: side effects from unnecessary hormone replacements, dependence on supplements, or disruption of the body's natural rhythms. Japanese elders, with their emphasis on accepting aging gracefully, often see little sense in trying to artificially force the body into a youthful hormonal profile. Scientific evidence supports their caution. Endocrinology guidelines in Japan and abroad warn against routine screening with large hormonal panels in people without symptoms. They emphasize that targeted testing, such as checking thyroid function when there are clear signs of imbalance, is far more reliable. Broad testing, by contrast, often uncovers borderline results that do not indicate disease but invite unnecessary interventions. Elders who prioritize quality of life over endless medical tinkering understand this distinction well. Another reason Japanese elders are cautious about hormone testing is the culture's respect for natural transitions. Menopause, for example, is not viewed as a medical crisis to be aggressively treated but as a normal life stage. Likewise, changes in energy or sleep that come with aging are often addressed through lifestyle adjustments rather than pharmaceutical fixes. Practices such as gentle exercise, balanced diet, and restorative rest are trusted more than pills or injections to bring balance. There is also a financial and emotional dimension. Comprehensive hormone panels can be expensive, especially when repeated over time. And just as with genetic testing or whole-body imaging, the discovery of minor irregularities can lead to a cycle of worry and more testing. Elders, guided by motenai, the cultural principle of avoiding waste, often decline these tests unless symptoms strongly suggest their necessity. They prefer to conserve resources and energy for measures that directly improve well-being. This does not mean hormones are ignored in Japanese medicine. When patients show clear signs of imbalance, doctors act decisively with targeted tests and appropriate treatments. What elders avoid is the indiscriminate use of panels that treat aging itself as a disease. Their approach reflects wisdom. Not everything that changes with time requires correction. With this understanding, we move on to the fifth medical exam on our list: the full-body PET or PET-CT scan. This imaging tool looks deep into metabolic activity, but like the others, it brings hidden risks that many Japanese elders would rather avoid. The PET scan, short for positron emission tomography, is a powerful imaging tool that allows doctors to see metabolic activity inside the body. When combined with CT technology, It provides both structural and functional information, often used in oncology to detect cancers or evaluate how well treatments are working. On the surface, it might seem like the ultimate safeguard, a way to catch disease early before it spreads. Yet, many Japanese elders decline full-body PET or PET-CT scans when offered as routine screenings. Their hesitation is rooted in both cultural wisdom and scientific caution. One of the primary concerns is exposure. While PET scans do not deliver the same level of radiation as multiple CT scans, they still involve radioactive tracers. For an elder who has already lived many decades, the additional risk may outweigh the potential benefit, especially if there are no symptoms suggesting serious disease. Japanese elders are pragmatic about aging. They know that not every hidden cellular change needs to be uncovered, particularly when detection may not alter the outcome in a meaningful way. False positives represent another major hidden danger. PET scans are extremely sensitive, which means they sometimes detect metabolic activity that looks suspicious, but is ultimately harmless. This can lead to cascades of further testing, biopsies, repeat imaging, or even invasive procedures that bring more harm than clarity. For elders who value peace of mind and wish to avoid unnecessary suffering, the possibility of being trapped in this spiral of uncertainty makes them cautious about agreeing to such scans. Financial considerations also play a role. Like whole-body MRI, PET scans performed for general screening are rarely covered by Japan's public insurance system. They must be paid out of pocket, often costing thousands of dollars. Elders who live by the principle of matinai view this as a poor use of resources, especially when evidence shows that PET scans as blanket screenings do not extend lifespan in healthy people. To them, money is better spent on nutrition, social activities, or preventive habits that enhance quality of life in tangible ways. Scientific consensus aligns with this cultural restraint. Leading medical organizations worldwide, including in Japan, recommend PET scans only for specific indications, such as staging cancer, monitoring treatment, or investigating particular symptoms. Their use as a general preventive tool is discouraged, precisely because the harms often outweigh the benefits. Japanese elders, by declining these exams unless medically necessary, demonstrate not negligence but wisdom in following evidence-based caution. Instead of relying on expensive technology to predict every possible risk, they focus on proven strategies for maintaining health. Daily walking, traditional diets rich in seasonal foods, and strong community bonds are seen as far more reliable guardians of longevity. The PET scan, while valuable in certain contexts, does not fit into their philosophy of balanced aging. With the 5 exams now laid out, CT scans, MRIs, genetic testing, hormonal panels, and PET scans, it becomes clear that Japanese elders are not avoiding medicine but applying it selectively. Next, we will look deeper into the underlying reasons behind these choices, revealing the cultural and philosophical roots that explain why less in healthcare can sometimes mean more. Now that we have examined the 5 medical exams many Japanese elders choose to avoid, it is time to understand the deeper reasons behind these decisions. At first glance, their restraint might appear risky to outsiders accustomed to aggressive preventive medicine. But when we look closer, we see a carefully considered philosophy shaped by culture, experience, and science. Their choices are not about ignoring health, but about prioritizing balance, dignity, and quality of life. One of the guiding principles is motanai, a cultural concept that emphasizes avoiding waste. This applies not only to material goods, but also to time, energy, and even medical resources. For elders, subjecting themselves to repeated expensive or invasive exams without clear benefit is seen as wasteful. Instead, they prefer to allocate their energy to activities that enhance daily living: gardening, walking, preparing seasonal meals, or sharing time with family. In this sense, avoiding unnecessary tests is an extension of the same frugality and mindfulness that shape other aspects of Japanese life. Another influence is the cultural view of aging. In many Western societies, aging is often portrayed as something to fight at all costs, with medicine as the weapon. In Japan, aging is more readily accepted as a natural stage of life. While people certainly value longevity, they do not see every change in the body as a threat to be eliminated. Wrinkles, slower pace, or reduced stamina are embraced with dignity. Elders know that medicine can extend life, but may also diminish its quality if applied excessively. This acceptance of natural aging reduces the appeal of broad screenings that promise to catch everything. Awareness of overdiagnosis also plays a role. Public health campaigns and medical education in Japan have highlighted the dangers of unnecessary testing. Elders understand that more testing can mean more false alarms, more interventions, and more stress. They know that some conditions discovered through broad screenings never progress to serious illness, and that the pursuit of treatment may cause more harm than the disease itself. This knowledge empowers them to decline exams that offer more fear than benefit. Japanese elders also rely heavily on self-observation and lifestyle management. Instead of waiting for a machine to tell them something is wrong, they pay attention to subtle changes in their bodies: appetite, sleep, energy, or digestion. Combined with trusted family doctors who emphasize conservative, symptom-driven testing, this approach provides a sense of security without unnecessary intrusion. Taken together, these cultural and philosophical roots explain why elders in Japan so often choose less when it comes to advanced medical screening. Their decisions are not about negligence but about wisdom, knowing when enough is enough. By focusing on daily habits and meaningful living, they demonstrate that health is more than the absence of disease. It is the presence of balance. With this foundation understood, the next step is to recognize that restraint must have limits. While avoiding certain exams can be wise, there are also situations where skipping tests can be dangerous. In the following chapter, we will explore when avoidance becomes unwise, and how Japanese caution is balanced with modern medical necessity. Restraint has been a recurring theme in the choices made by Japanese elders, but wisdom also means knowing when restraint should end. While avoiding certain exams can prevent unnecessary harm, there are moments when skipping a test may put health at serious risk. The balance lies in recognizing red flags and responding appropriately, blending cultural caution with medical necessity. One of the clearest signals not to ignore is sudden change. If an elder notices unexplained weight loss, persistent fatigue, or pain that does not resolve, declining an exam may delay critical diagnosis. In these moments, Japanese doctors emphasize the importance of acting promptly. Even elders who avoid broad screenings will often agree to targeted tests when symptoms clearly point to something amiss. Their philosophy is not about rejecting medicine altogether, but about applying it wisely and sparingly. Family history is another factor that shifts the equation. When there is a strong genetic predisposition, for example, a history of colon cancer or heart disease, doctors may recommend earlier or more frequent screening. Japanese elders, though cautious, understand that risk does not disappear with philosophy. In these cases, the principle of Matanai adapts. Refusing a test that could reveal a preventable illness would itself be considered wasteful. Here, the cultural value aligns with medical science, encouraging action when action is justified. Lab results can also serve as important triggers. If basic blood tests or physical exams reveal anomalies, they may indicate the need for deeper investigation. Japanese elders, though they avoid unnecessary high-tech scans, often accept simpler checkups such as blood pressure, cholesterol, or glucose monitoring. When those results fall outside healthy ranges, they act as a compass pointing toward further targeted exams. This careful layering of simple before complex is central to the Japanese medical mindset. Another critical consideration is quality of life. While some elders prefer not to pursue every possible diagnosis, many still choose testing when symptoms interfere with daily living. For example, difficulty walking, persistent cough, or severe digestive issues are not brushed aside as just aging. Instead, they become cues for appropriate medical intervention. This shows that caution does not mean complacency, it means tailoring action to need. For those outside Japan, the lesson is clear. It is possible to respect the wisdom of restraint while still recognizing danger signs. The challenge is not to test everything, but to test intelligently. Shared decision-making with trusted physicians is key. Rather than blindly following trends of overtesting or avoiding all exams, elders can weigh their individual risks, preferences, and values to decide when a test makes sense. By integrating Japanese caution with modern medical vigilance, one finds a middle path. avoiding the harms of overdiagnosis while still catching serious disease in time. This balance represents the true art of mindful screening. Having explored both the wisdom of avoidance and the necessity of action, we now arrive at the conclusion. In the final chapter, we will recap the 5 exams, reinforce the central message, and show how mindful screening can empower elders everywhere to live longer, healthier, and more peaceful lives. We have traveled through a fascinating landscape of choices guided by the quiet wisdom of Japanese elders. Along the way, we discovered 5 medical exams they often avoid: the routine full-body CT scan, the annual whole-body MRI, full genetic testing, broad hormonal panels, and full-body PET or PT-CT scans. Each of these tests, though technologically advanced, carries risks that can outweigh their benefits when used indiscriminately. For Japanese elders, avoiding them is not an act of neglect, but a conscious decision to protect quality of life. The central lesson from their approach is simple yet profound. More is not always better. Medicine is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it must be used with discernment. Excessive screening can lead to radiation exposure, false positives, unnecessary treatments, financial strain, and emotional anxiety. By stepping back from the urge to test everything, Japanese elders embrace a principle that has guided their culture for centuries: balance. Health, in their view, is not about chasing every possible risk, but about nurturing the body and mind through sustainable daily practices. We also learned that this restraint has limits. When symptoms appear, when family history signals danger, or when basic checkups uncover irregularities, testing becomes necessary. Japanese elders are cautious, but they are not careless. Their approach demonstrates a nuanced understanding of medicine, neither blind faith in technology nor reckless avoidance, but a careful weighing of benefit against harm. This middle path allows them to live longer lives with less medical intrusion, proving that aging with dignity often requires knowing when to say no. For elders around the world, this wisdom is deeply relevant. Many are pressured into unnecessary screenings, believing that constant vigilance guarantees safety. Others, fearful of hospitals, avoid all tests and risk missing critical diagnoses. The Japanese model offers a third way: mindful screening. It suggests asking thoughtful questions. Will this test truly change my outcome? Is the risk worth the knowledge gained? Does it improve my quality of life or only increase anxiety? These are the questions that guide elders in Japan, and they can guide us too. The hope is that by applying these principles, anyone can craft a more balanced relationship with healthcare. Instead of surrendering to either excess or avoidance, we can make decisions that honor both longevity and peace of mind. And this balance does not depend solely on machines or doctors. It also rests on choices made every day: eating nourishing foods, walking regularly, nurturing friendships, and embracing the natural process of aging. As you reflect on what you have learned, consider how these insights might apply in your own life or the life of someone you love. Have you ever felt pressured into a test you later questioned? Or have you avoided one and wondered if it was the right choice? Share your experiences, because your story may inspire others. By engaging in this conversation, we create a community rooted in wisdom, caution, and hope. The journey does not end here. Mindful screening is just one piece of the larger puzzle of healthy aging. There are many more lessons to draw from Japanese traditions, from daily rituals to lifestyle habits that promote resilience and joy. For now, take with you the reminder that health is not measured by the number of tests performed, but by the life lived fully in each day.